A lot of things that are out there about, why I came here are not accurate.
Who is Payton Thorne, and why would a multiple-year starter who led Michigan State to an 11-win season leave East Lansing?
Well, hey, if I'm not appreciated here, the grass is probably greener somewhere else. Maybe I can get some more NIL dollars somewhere else. Again, we're speculating.
We'll get to the real reason later, but today on Power Hour SEC, I want to dig deeper into this former three-star recruit's rise to being the quarterback of one of the premier universities in all of college football.
Yeah, I've decided to start Payton. The reason Payton is getting the nod is just the leadership ability and the understanding of the offense.
So why is Payton so good at understanding offenses? Well, it's pretty simple. He began diagnosing coverage at the age of 6.
That's Grandpa. That's Grandpa.
Oh, yeah, Grandpa's giving the talk. Good thing you're kneeling down to see it.
Just about every male in my family has played football at some point in their life. My dad is a college coach. He played in high school and then in college as well. He played at Eastern Illinois.
My dad, Peyton's grandfather, was a very, very successful high school coach.
And that he was. That's John right there in the middle with Jeff to the far left. So John would eventually leave high school to become the head coach at North Central College in Illinois, a D3 school. You're looking at John's resume. And then in 2015, he handed the job to Jeff, who won the national championship in 2019 at the D3 level. Now, with all of that football goodness knowledge, that wasn't smooth at all. But anyway, Payton would transfer from Mattea Valley to the Naperville Central Redhawks, and you see his numbers throughout his high school varsity career. They're incredible. These are dominant performances right here from Payton Thorne, and one very underrated aspect of his game was his dual threat ability. And you'll see throughout these couple of clips how cerebral of a thrower he actually was. Yes, physically, you do see him make some really special plays as a varsity player, but there are some things that you see at an extremely advanced level here that lets you know that this young man is definitely the son of a coach, the son of somebody who studied the game since he was 6 years old. You see him right here actually setting up the formation in the red zone. He spots the coverage, and it's a rollout to the right, and he throws this wonderful throw to the back corner of the end zone. And this throw is very well my favorite. You see him right here checking out of this play. He sees that it's a cover one all-out blitz, and he knows to hit the slot fade because the safety won't be able to help over the top. So this was a man who accomplished pretty much everything you possibly could, short of actually winning a state championship. You see USA Today Player of the Year, All-Academic Team, Chicago Sun-Times Player of the Year. But despite all of this, he was a 3-star. But one thing we'll discuss today on Power Hour SEC, and it drives me absolutely crazy, is not all 3-stars are created equal. So these legends here, I think every single one of you can name them. Well, they were 3-star quarterbacks. But were they really? Take a look at their actual national ranking, and bang, you'll see that all 3 of these prospects were inside the top 400, which would make them a 4-star if they were parts of more recent recruiting classes. This is Wilkie Denard, a recent 4-star addition, and you'll see that his ranking is way lower than theirs, and he was a 4-star. So what makes this rise truly unprecedented is, well, Payton Thorne wasn't even close to those other 3. He, in fact, is outside the top 1,000 players for his recruiting class. So success for guys outside the top 1,000 isn't totally unprecedented. You're seeing a few pretty good players, if you ask me, in their rankings, and one actually here that actually won the Heisman Trophy. But when it comes to the SEC, I could only find 2 successful starters, both coached by Dan Mullen, ironically. It was Kyle Trask and Nick Fitzgerald. Who remembers him? This dude was an absolute menace. But the player he resembles the most is this Spartan legend.
You like that? You like that?
Kirk Cousins was also a recruit outside the top 1,000. Kirk Cousins, about the same height and weight to that of Payton Thorne. Both were actually born in Illinois, and both were actually slated to go to Western Michigan. Yes, Payton Thorne was a long-time commitment, but Mark D'Antonio actually swooped in at the last second and landed both of these 3-star gems. And it's all the way down even to their passing statistics. They are near identical for the first couple of seasons. And maybe Payton Thorne, like Kirk Cousins, takes a major leap in year 3. The big difference, though, between the two of them is Payton Thorne, as you can see, can actually give you a little something with his legs, which can be a big part of what Auburn wants to do. And you also see that Payton Thorne's QBRs are better.
When I first got here, it was interesting. Obviously, everyone talks about it in high school. You go from being the number 1 guy, and then you get here and you're the last guy.
Payton's been around for a while, y'all. He started his career actually in 2019, and it was a brutal redshirt freshman season, obviously working just with scout team. And as you can see, he could barely hold on to the snap there. He struggled with the strength and conditioning program, losing 7 pounds immediately, not being able to keep food down. But he persevered. And going into 2020, there was some that wanted him to be the starter from the get-go. But because of what was going on in the world and only playing 4 games in a shortened season, Payton was also able to retain his red shirt for 2020. And as you can see, he put together some pretty decent performances, especially that Penn State game.
First season as the starter out there, led them to an 11-win season, also broke the single-season record, 27 touchdown passes, beating out Kirk Cousins back in 2011 when he threw 25. He finished up 3rd on the single-season record for both total offense and passing, 3,400 total offense, 3,200 passing.
So that was Jordan Palmer, esteemed quarterback coach, breaking down what was the spectacular rise of Thorne in 2021. And the real highlight was this victory versus Michigan.
This young man could right the ship.
Open. Payton Thorne throws. It's beyond midfield. Great grab by Jaden Reed.
And while Thorne was impressive all of 2021, Michigan State had its best collection of skill guys ever, right? With the Jaden Reed, more on him in just a second. But the superstar in 2021 was running back number 9, Kenneth Walker, who truly is spectacular. I expect him to be a massive, massive player this year for the Seattle Seahawks. By the way, if you want to draft him, Underdog Fantasy, UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code Carter in the link down below. Make sure you support us through that. And Payton Thorne also had a wide receiver here by the name of Jalen Naylor, who's with the Minnesota Vikings. So they were loaded. But even when they left in 2021, they were still loaded at skill position players. Jaden Reed was back. Keon Coleman emerged. So what the frick happened? How did this team not even be bowl eligible? So for the sake of brevity, I actually cut out a ton of film study breakdown of how things went awry. I'm going to give you a Cliff Notes version. The first thing here is I felt the offense was very static and predictable, which is kind of weird considering Jay Johnson has been the OC and you had continuity there since 2020 with Payton Thorne. So that was kind of a bummer to see that. Also, their offensive line wasn't great. Overall, though, Payton himself also regressed, right? There was a lot of plays, such as this Minnesota game, which was by far his worst game. He was beyond abysmal in that one. But for the most part, this team just couldn't get it together. They weren't a good team when it comes to penalties. They had a lot of these 3rd and long situations that just were too insurmountable to overcome. And this transfer kind of reminds me a little bit of when Jaden Daniels left Arizona State to go to LSU, right? He was also in a lot of these third and long spots.
MSU's best player just entered the transfer portal. Keon Coleman, wide receiver.
A big reason why he decided to leave, in my mind, a little speculation, like the On3 reporter a little bit earlier, is because Keon Coleman left. So much of this Michigan State offense was throw the football up to Keon and hope he makes a play, right? And you'll see on this end around, Keon Coleman making another big play. So once Coleman decided to leave, it was time for Payton Thorne to leave, because also somebody else left. And you see in the background, Graham Mertz, the Florida quarterback, throwing a dart here. In overtime to win this, Payton Thorne threw this jump ball to not first round, but a high round draft pick in Jaden Reed.
Every day after the lift, he preaches something to us to motivate us and keep us going every day.
So Reed might be the most interesting part of Thorne's story. They have been high school teammates since 7th grade, okay? So Jaden Reed, as you can see, was also a 3-star recruit. They started together at Mateo Valley. They then transferred together to Naperville. And Reed was class of 2018, so he got to college a year sooner, but eventually went to Western Michigan, then transferred to Michigan State to join forces with Thorne, and now he's with the Packers. So I know this will sound cheesy, but I feel when Jaden left, a piece of Payton left with him, right? Because if you see here, in 2019, Jaden had to sit a full season just to play with Payton in 2020. So he transferred not once, but twice to play with Payton at 2 completely different levels. And from an Auburn perspective, Payton Thorne has only played 1 year in his 7 as a high school varsity or college player without Jaden Reed being out there. So it's pretty wild. Now, there are rumors of NIL being involved here. And look, Auburn's name, image, and likeness program has made some headlines. So, of course, Payton probably got something for making the transition. But I truly do believe the number one reason is because of a fresh start.
The main reason I came here is Coach Freeze and Coach Montgomery, and seeing what they've done with quarterbacks and just seeing the offenses that they run, that really attracted me to this place. And also just everything that I've heard about the university and the football program and the fan base. It's awesome.
Now, is there something sinister? Let me know down below if you believe Payton is telling the truth, that the main reason he came to Auburn is because of Auburn. Nothing at Michigan State. There wasn't another quarterback by the name of Noah Kim that he feared when it came to taking his job. I'll be honest, there's probably some truth in that, but honestly, if you give me the opportunity as a quarterback to play for an offensive mind that has made a lot of quarterbacks look really good, I'm taking that opportunity. And it is pretty historic. I would not have thought that there's only been 2 other really legendary outside the top 1,000 quarterback recruits in the SEC. Payton Thorne has a chance to be better than, obviously, Kyle Trask and Nick Fitzgerald. We'll see what happens there. So let me know what you guys think. And look, I was a fool earlier this year who told you that Robbie Ashford was going to be able to keep his job, but obviously I was wrong. I know it was kind of a bold take at the time, but not too shocked that Payton was able to keep it. I'm also rooting for the 3-star recruit. I always do. That's why I wanted to do the video on the rise. And let me know if you guys want more storytelling type of content mixed with some analysis. So, will Payton be able to hold on to this job? I believe so. I know there is a fraction of the Auburn fan base that would love to see Holden Geriner. He actually is a blue chip recruit to actually get the shot at being the guy, but he might get that opportunity down the road. But what makes Payton Thorne's situation very spicy is he actually has 2 years of eligibility left. This could be his job for the next 2 seasons. Now, will we see Holden some this year? Maybe, but I know for sure we'll see some Robbie. I was a little shocked that Payton wasn't a better runner. I charted all these games. If you guys want the extra film study, I could give it to you, but still, I actually did a deep dive on the Penn State game, the Wisconsin game. I think Robbie's going to get a chance to play quite a bit. So check out these other videos floating in your face, and let's go. It's that season.